everyone. Now, before I start, I would just like to ask, you all by with show of hands, how many of you all like to travel for leisure? Great. Okay, me too. Okay, so 7 years ago, I went to Hanoi, the capital of Vietnam, for the first time. So before going on the trip, I was very excited, so I did a lot of research. I bought the Lonely Planet for Vietnam to read and to use the map inside. And I also surfed the internet for information. Okay, I paid close attention to the potential scams I would encounter when I was surfing the net. So one of the scams which I was sort of like very concerned about was the cab ride from the airport to the city center. So the cab driver would bring you to a hotel which would earn him commission instead of bringing you to the hotel which you want. And the cab driver would say things like, oh, the hotel you have booked is full, etc., etc. That's all excuses. So anyway, I encountered that situation. Okay, so when I landed at Noi Bai Airport, it was already night. So I hopped in the cab, less than an hour, reached the old quarter. So when I got off from the cab, there was already a man there, waiting for a well-dressed young man there. And he said, oh, welcome to da hotel. But that was not the hotel which I had booked. So, and then the cab driver came out and said, oh, you know, the hotel I booked was already full, etc., etc. So anyway, alarm bell started ringing, so I quickly walked away, and ignored them. So now, because I had a map, and because I was SAF trained, I was confident that I'll be able to find my way to the hotel I wanted. Okay? But I was just totally wrong. You see, I just got lost. The map was not accurate. Oh my soul! I was walking around for 1 hour trying to find where I was. When I met someone, I would ask for directions, but no one understood English. So I was hungry and I was tired. In my mind, I was thinking, oh no, do I have to sleep on the streets tonight? I'm here for a holiday. What is happening? But luckily, you know, I was staring at the map for the uptime time when someone called out, hello, mister, are you lost? Can I help you? So I turned around, and here was a young, swarthy teen man in a dirty t-shirt and a pair of dirty shorts. He had a scar on his leg and several other small scars on his arms. So I replied, yes, I'm lost. In my house, okay, someone can speak English, so I was sort of glad. Okay, then the young man replied, okay, I can bring you to your hotel. So my initial reaction was one of skepticism, because the guy, you know, he was dressed very poorly. He had scars over. He didn't give me a good vibe. So I was very skeptical. But you know, since I was so desperate, so tired, so hungry, I just took a leap of faith and followed him. So anyway, along the way, he started sharing with me about himself. His name is Long, which is dragon. Yeah, it sounds very familiar to Chinese. Okay, so he learned English because he wanted to be a tour guide. He wanted to earn and save enough money to get married within the next 3 years. And he shared. And noticed something. He was walking with a slight limp, with the leg which had a huge scar. So he shared with me that actually he was involved in an accident a few weeks ago. A motorcycle had ran into him, and he actually hasn't fully recovered. Okay. So anyway, we walked for around 15, maybe 20 minutes, and lo and behold, he brought me to the hotel which I had shortlisted. So I was actually very relieved, but at the same time, I also felt very uncomfortable because, you know, this was a friendly guy, was very open. He had helped me, but yet I did not trust him. So in a way, it was not the proudest moment in my life. Yeah. So anyway, I wanted to give him some money to, you know, sort of like thank him, but he declined it, and he said that he just wanted, you know, to help tourists, to help travelers, and enjoy Vietnam. So anyway, we shook hands and he left. So anyway, this story sort of just taught me and reinforced me a point that appearances sorry, technical problem. sorry. So appearances can be deceiving. So there are many reasons why appearances can be deceiving. First of all, it's because of our preconceptions, our past experiences, and our feelings. Any information that comes to us, that we will analyze and filter through this, and go through these filters. So in our minds, we will build mental maps of meaning, or structures of meaning, which will make sense of the world. Okay. Now, for instance, whenever we say or hear about some Mr. or Mrs. or Miss, whoever, so and so is a handicapped person, more likely than not, we'll think of someone who needs our help and not someone who can help us. So this is best illustrated in a movie called Lagan. Okay, this is a Hindi movie from Bollywood. Okay, so anyway, I watched this movie when I was in Australia. It was shown on the special broadcasting station, the multicultural channel for Australia. So the story goes like this. Okay, once upon a time, when the sun never sets on the British Empire, when Britain was still when India was still the crown jewel of Pax Britannica. Okay, there lived a man called Bhuvan in an impoverished village in the state of Gujarat. Now, in one particular year, there was a drought, and the crops failed. So the village couldn't pay their taxes. So what Bhuvan did was he went to the Raja to appeal for tax relief. But the Raja was powerless because real power lay in British hands. So anyway, Bhuvan left the Raja's house, and was walking back to the village when he saw several Englishmen playing cricket. So Bhuvan mocked the game, and then Captain Russell, who is the commanding officer of the cantonment of Gujarat, he was not impressed with Bhuvan's insults. So he challenged Bhuvan to a cricket match. So Bhuvan saw an opportunity. So Bhuvan laid a stipulation that if the Indians, so Captain Russell challenged the Indians to a cricket match. So Bhuvan laid a stipulation that if the Indians won the match, the villagers won't have to pay any tax for the next 3 years. But Captain Russell also had his own stipulation, and that was if the Indians lost the match, they will have to pay 3 times the tax. Okay. So anyway, Bhuvan accepted the conditions, and he went back to his village to form his team. So okay, now there were Hindus, there was a Sikh, there was a Muslim, and then there was one surprising member, team member which was very surprising, and that was Kashra. Okay, his name is Kashra, and he's an untouchable, and he's handicapped. He has a deformed arm. Okay, so now in ancient India, they practice the caste system, and untouchables are at the bottom of the social hierarchy. They are essentially outcast. So, and then furthermore, like I said, Kashra was handicapped. So actually, the rest of the team were prejudiced against Kashra. They thought that Kashra wouldn't be able to help the team at all. Instead, they thought that Kashra would be a liability and cause them to lose the match. But Bhuvan saw something in Kashra that convinced him otherwise. Kashra could bowl spinning balls, which Bhuvan thought would be useful in a cricket match. And you know what? The Indians won the cricket match, and Kashra played a pivotal role with his bowling, which flummoxed the English batsmen and led to an Indian victory. So anyway, the villagers were deceived by Kashra's appearance and handicap because they actually had a preconceived notion of what being handicapped means. That a handicap would require help and not help them and help normal people. Okay, so that's the story of how cricket was introduced to India. Okay, that's just fiction. Anyway, speaking about history, the next story I am going to share is taken from Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Romance of the Three Kingdoms is actually a historical novel about the decline of the Han dynasty in China. So, okay, it was a period where China was partitioned into three states. Okay, Northern Wei, led by Cao Cao, Eastern Wu, led by Sun Quan, and Western Shu, led by Liu Bei. So the story goes like that. It's contains one of the characters in the novel, and this person is called Pang Tong. So Pang Tong is a resident of Wu, of the state of Wu. Okay, he was considered to be one of the two geniuses of the era. Okay, the other genius is of course Zhuge Liang. Some of you may have heard of him. Zhuge Liang is a brilliant military strategist and a great statesman. So Pang Tong was considered to be his equal. But Pang Tong also had the dubious distinction of being the ugliest man of the era. Okay, so what happened was that Pang Tong was, because of his looks, he had trouble finding an enlightened lord to serve. So he went to Sun Quan first, because since he was a resident of Wu, and volunteered his service. But Sun Quan outright rejected his services because Sun Quan disliked ugly people. Okay? Yeah. So anyway, Pang Tong had heard good things about Liu Bei. So he went to Liu Bei. And Liu Bei, well, he was also prejudiced against Pang Tong's looks. But not to the extent of Sun Quan. So Liu Bei actually hired Pang Tong, but instead of giving Pang Tong an important position in his army, he appointed Pang Tong as a magistrate, as a lowly magistrate of a small town 50 miles away from the city. So Pang Tong accepted the appointment and he went to the small town. But however, at the small town, he did not perform his duties at all. He just ate, he just slept, he just sat down, jiao ka, okay, or yeah, just hang his legs, shake his legs. Okay. So anyway, this went on for a month, and the news of Pang Tong's dereliction of duty reached Liu Bei. So Liu Bei was very concerned, so he requested his sworn brother, Zhang Fei, the general Zhang Fei, to investigate. Now, Zhang Fei had suffered an injury a few days prior. Okay, so Zhang Fei, he was riding on a horse when he fell down, and when he fell down, he landed on a pile of durians, so his butt was pierced by durian spikes. Yeah, okay. So, Zhang Fei, being a brave man, brave and courageous man, he accepted Liu Bei's request. And so he set off and rode out of the city to the small town. But then along the way, there was a traffic jam. So he had to endure his ride for 2 hours instead of the normal 1 hour. And also because he was injured, his butt was injured, he had to ride in a very different manner than he couldn't ride in his usual manner. So this was how he rode. Oops, sorry. Technical problem again. Okay. Anyway, this was how he rode up. Okay.
Oppan Gangnam Style.
So that's how Sai got his inspiration from a Chinese general with an injured buttock. Okay, for his dance, both famous dance. So anyway, so once. Oh, okay. Okay, once Zhang Fei reached. Sorry. Okay, so once Zhang Fei reached this small town, he strode angrily to Pang Tong. He saw Pang Tong lying down, and he strode angrily to Pang Tong. Hey, what are you doing, Pang Tong? Then Pang Tong was very calm. He just opened his eyes and said to General to Zhang Fei, "Oh, General Zhang, I know why you come. Let me settle all the problems. So, because Pang Tong didn't do any work for 1 month, he had a backlog. There was a backlog of 100 cases for him to solve. So, but anyway, Pang Tong settled all the cases within 3 hours, and all his judgments were astute and accurate. And Zhang Fei was shocked by that. That's how shocked he was, Zhang Fei. And so Zhang Fei rushed back to Liu Bei with his butt in pain and reported Liu Bei about Pang Tong's genius. So Liu Bei immediately rushed to the small town and apologized to Pang Tong and appointed Pang Tong as his military advisor. So Pang Tong accepted apology and accepted appointment, his new appointment. So this story, actually Sun Quan was actually deceived by appearances, by Pang Tong's ugliness, because he had this preconceived idea of beauty or handsomeness in this case. So he couldn't see past the looks, so which blinded him to Pang Tong's talents and genius. Okay, since we're out of time, I have to skip my next story and go to my last story instead. My last story. There are other ways in which appearances can be deceiving. Values and beliefs can shape how we perceive things. So, for instance, single mothers in Singapore, are considered to be antithetical to values in Singapore. The law discriminates against them. They receive only 8 weeks of paid maternity leave compared to 16 weeks for the married counterparts. Now, but however, when you think about it, or when I think about it, are single mothers more immoral or less virtuous than any of us? Well, for me, I don't think so. For instance, Mencius' mother, Mencius is a famous Chinese philosopher. His mother, moved house three times for him. Mencius actually came from a single-parent family. After his father left the family, Mencius' mom moved the family to a house next to a cemetery. So Mencius began behaving like the funeral chanters. Mencius' mom was horrified, and so she moved them to a house next to the market. And then Mencius began imitating the behavior of merchants. But the merchants at the time of time were actually looked down on. So actually Mencius' mom was horrified again, and so she moved house to a place next to a school. So in that environment, with the teachers and fellow students, Mencius began to fall in love with studying, and he became the man he was because of the environment. So back to single mothers, like I said, are they more immoral or are they less virtuous? But then, then there's also this question. Is there any other profession that is nobler than being a mother? Thank you. Your silence is the best answer. So you see, values and beliefs will influence our perception and cause us to see people and things in ways at a very superficial level, and not for who or what they really are. So anyway, to summarize, appearances can be deceiving, but it can also be a blessing in disguise when you are aware and remember that appearances are deceiving. When you remember that appearances are deceiving, we will be reminded not to judge a book by its cover. We will be reminded to think critically, reminded that beauty is only skin deep. So remember, appearances can be deceiving. Okay, thank you very much. Now, last week you all know that